Hey, everybody. So, welcome to another episode from The Quiet Edge. Today is going to be a little bit deeper. I'm going to talk about some past experiences that I had. And it's really like this point in my life where I had to really understand what I was in terms of like my personality type, being an introvert, and how I accepted that and how I came to realize that like there's nothing necessarily wrong with me. I'm just different. So stick with me through this journey because I bet a lot of you are going to share a lot of the same situations, the same type of understanding. And my goal in this video is to help you see that there is a way that you can accept who you are and that there's nothing wrong with you and that you could use what you accept in your introversion as a positive, right? As superpowers, if you will, that can lead you on to make other choices, better choices for yourself, and ultimately for your career. There was a time where I believed that something was wrong with me. I thought that being quiet meant that I was broken. And so my hesitation to speak up in meetings or when I needed alone time meant that I wasn't cut out for success. I started to think that I wasn't where I was meant to be. And that's pretty low, right? I get it, but stay with me. It took me years to figure out, but I finally realized that I didn't need to fix my personality. I really needed to just understand it. So for years, I tried to be more outgoing, right? I forced myself to small talk. If there was a required social event, like through my work or my company, yes, I had to go. But what I really felt afterwards is that I was just pretending, and I didn't feel confidence. It wasn't real to me. And if the event wasn't required, I was gonna make an excuse to not go to the voluntary ones because it was exhausting. So when I'd come home, I'd feel drained, but I realized that it wasn't because I didn't like people, right? It was because I was really ignoring how my mind and my energy naturally worked. So I wanted to learn about others. I wanted to make connections, but I was going about it all the wrong way. So one day, after another networking event, a social event that was with my company, right? I smiled through it. I had conversations that I don't remember, and I get to my car, I close the door, and I just breathed, right? Just let out a huge sigh because at that point, I realized that I don't think I was bad at being social. I think I was doing it wrong, and that I'm different than the other people that I saw at those social events, those networking events. But I realized like just because they're different, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. I think I was just different. So in order to help me understand what was going on and why I was thinking this way more and more, right? As year one went by, year two went by, I really started to do a lot of research into personality types, but not as a way to like label people. I wanted to figure out a way that I could use it as a framework. And I learned that introverts do really well in environments where, right, they can have deeper conversations. So smaller groups or even one-on-one conversations. They tend to think a lot before they speak, right? They internalize a lot of things. They have a lot of emotions and a lot of thoughts and categorizing different things in their head before they speak. And the other thing that really got to me was introverts observe a lot before they act. A lot of times they just observe, and that's just what's they're their like state, right? Their state of mind. Like they don't need to talk. They don't need to engage outwardly in a conversation. They observe, they pick up on body language. They can see how other people are interacting. And many times it's things that other people are going to miss. So I learned that introversion was me. I'm an introvert. I was trying to succeed in a system that was built around extroversion, right? And I've talked about this before in many videos and in my newsletter. The corporate world, careers are built around favoring extroverts. And what I was doing is that I was struggling because I was looking at those other people that seemed to be doing well, right? That were outgoing, that were loud, that were getting noticed, that to me, they were making friends faster. And I don't know, maybe at this time in my career, they're probably not friends, but that's what I was seeing, you know, as someone that was new in my career. And I had to stop chasing that version of success because it wasn't me, and that's not how I was going to operate. It wasn't sustainable because I've been trying to do this for years. And I had to notice that my quiet nature was my strength. And why did I come to that? I think I realized that being quiet was okay, right? There was nothing wrong with being quiet. And instead of forcing myself to like network with everyone, I started to realize that if I built, you know, strong, genuine connections with just a couple of people that I cared about, people that I admired, people that I had looked up to, those meant a lot more to me than trying to talk to everybody in the room. And like if I was in a group or a meeting or we were on like a conference call, I stopped feeling like I needed to fill the silence and just talk. I learned that I could wait and I could be quiet. I didn't need to always speak. And when I did speak, people listened because I wasn't just like filling up empty space with a lot of words that didn't mean anything, which then people tend to ignore over time. I was stronger when I waited and I said something that was meaningful to me, and that also meant it was meaningful to other people. My introversion wasn't holding me back. That was a big realization for me. My belief that it was holding me back was the problem. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I felt. So if you've ever felt like you needed to fix yourself, I get it. I've been there. I know what that feels like. But maybe the real path forward isn't to change who you are. Maybe we need to lean into it. Because what do we have to lose? What are we comparing it against? What else are we going to do in our careers and in our lives? Right? So there's no harm in just leaning in to your personality type, leaning into your introversion, that be. We think deeply. We listen. We like to listen. We prefer to listen. And we tend to stay calm. We have a more, even keel, more even demeanor to us. And those are our superpowers that I was talking about. We don't have to apologize for them. Those are strengths. They're not weaknesses. And learning how to use those in our careers is what leads us down that path to success and what we define as success. So, as with all of my videos that I try to do, I try to give you some practical tips. And so I have a couple here that I want you to try. And they're going to take time, but I want you to start putting them into practice. So one of the things that's helped me over time is I had to stop comparing my pace to others, because growth doesn't need to be loud, right? We don't have to make a lot of noise. We don't have to have this huge presence when we walk in the room. We don't have to try to take everybody's attention. We're all headed in the same direction, right? We're all going through this journey of life. So why don't we want it to be the one that we create, the path that we want to go down, right? So stop comparing it to others. Build around your energy, not against it. So my second takeaway is I want you to understand when you need to take breaks, when you need downtime, when you need to block out time in your calendar just for reflection, right? Some deep thinking that goes on, some internalizing. It's not laziness. It's actually a strategy that you can use, because when you have restorative time, that allows you to keep building and keep moving forward. It's not a setback. And the third one that I've used, and I still use today, is understanding what confidence is, because there's always a piece of confidence that comes into different personality types, but we have to redefine it, especially for us introverts, because again, we're not focused on volume. We're focused on alignment. And what I mean by that is we need to be at peace with who we are, no matter who's watching. So we're going to continue to do what we're going to do. We know what we're talking about. We've built these skills over time, and that's what gives us confidence, and that's what gives us peace, so we can keep moving forward. So to wrap this all up, right, I realized that I didn't need to fix my personality. I needed to start living as myself, not anyone's version of me, right? This was a path that I needed to create for myself. If I wanted to keep moving down this journey, if I wanted to keep pushing forward, if I wanted to figure out what success meant for me, I was going to do it based off of my own path. And if there's people out there that this message resonates with, it's probably because deep down, right, you know it's time that you need to stop fighting who you are. And I want you to start working with it. So if you want to keep building that quiet confidence, I want you to look at and go watch the other videos on my channel, and in my brand, which is The Quiet Edge. That's what this is all about, helping other introverts figure out who they are, how to harness it, and leverage all of those superpowers into an amazing career. So with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.